Greetings. Once again, I ended off because there was one other aspect which I tapped on, but I didn't speak of, and I think, I have to, in regards to the Grenfell factor. As I say, tomorrow is a time when we will have, it will be made public, the findings of, and this is the first part of the report, that it'll be made public. And I believe in this report is where they're going to be speaking of the fire brigade. Now, in the quest for justice, we cannot be looking at the fire brigade. I don't know her name, but I stand by the policies and everything that they did based upon what they've been doing through time and time beforehand. This policy about stay in the house, although it is deemed as wrong, and I'll accept it was wrong, it was something which was used beforehand and used to its best ability. So we cannot floor it now just because we do not want to look at the true individuals that are responsible for what happened there at Grenfell. Now, let's take a look. 2 years later, yeah, there's still how many council estates, blocks of flats are still standing with the same form of cladding which blew up in front of their faces. 2 years later, there's only about 100 and something which has been dealt with, and there's over 300 or 3,000 more, I can't remember the figure, but it's immense. And they're worried about who's going to pay for this. Well, sorry, you know what? Who earned the money from this in the beginning? Because if I own something and it failed, it's my responsibility to pay compensation. So who should be paying for this? Is it not the same companies that run this, or is that going to interfere with certain people's monies, certain individuals' monies who are saying, oh no, certain elite people's? I'm only asking the question because I don't see how blaming the fire brigade for anything that they did when these policies have been used time and time before. That stay in your house policy has been something which should, if everything was correct with the building, if it wasn't for this aluminium cladding, there would have been no problem. And staying in their house would have been the right thing to do. Why? Because the fire wouldn't have reached them. They're in blocks of concrete, which the fire can't penetrate. But no, the cladding which is on the outside is what's burning up and causing all these fumes, which is killing everybody. You know what I mean? So, Tutus, whose fault is that? Is it not the people who bought things which were ill-equipped for the job in question? Yeah? So should those people not be, you don't need no kiss-me-neck inquiry. The documents are there. You can go and look at the point when this was built and see who was in charge of that project, blah, 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 and so on. Who signed it off? Who gave permission for what? There's your answers right there. We don't need this waste of kiss-me-ass money, because all that's going to happen for all the years it's going to take, we're going to start speaking about how much this investigation cost. And based on how much the investigation costs, all of a sudden people are going to start losing some individuals will start losing the factors surrounding about the human factor here. And it's now going to become a monetary factor. And people are going to start saying, oh, well, we've wasted too much money on this. It was so long ago. Well, let me say 2 years later, and there's still people out there. Some of them are housed in places where they're still in the fear of their life. But let me ask any one of you, if you want to live out of a bag for 2 years with a roof over your head, you're not on the street, but you might as well be, because all your clothes, you can't unpack your things because you're supposed to be gone tomorrow, but tomorrow is never coming. You know what I mean? They haven't issued the world of people they've issued some, so don't get me wrong, they've done some, but they put certain people in places which had the same bloody problems. And so many people feared for their life that they ain't going there. So I'm still standing up here, holding up justice for the Grenfell, and we still demanding the truth. So don't watch this folly that they're putting on our TV. And when you do see the report's going to have some points in it. But the points in regarding where you're cussing the fire brigade who put their life on the line, well, sorry, you know what? They ain't the ones that put us in trouble in the first place. It's down to certain people who are elite, who have X amount of money in this country, and you don't even know their names. We don't know their names, but you can find out. but they're not going to publish them because we don't need to know. But justice for the Grenfell 72, we need to stand up and show. I'm still in solidarity with y'all. Bless up. Look after each other. Look after we. Because this kind of skullduggery is the kind of thing that I'm speaking about throughout our history. Let's get to grips with it, people. It's still real, still happens, and it's happening, and it ain't about black and white. It's just about power.